I know firsthand why buying 1 to 4 units is not an income producing proposition, at least not initially. The number one reason why is because the price point that 1 to 4 unit properties sell for is based on comps. In other words, if you're buying a 4 unit building or 3 or 2 or a single family home as an income property, the price point is based on what other similar properties sold for. It says nothing about how much income they generate. So you could buy a 4 unit building at a particular price, and the money that you get in rents does not justify the mortgage, the interest, the taxes, the insurance, and the maintenance. So you're really at a loss. Furthermore, they are actually financed in a different way. They're financed as residential properties, particularly if you live in 1 unit and you rent out the others. But even if you're buying them as a non-owner occupied asset. So yes, you get a lower interest rate typically than buying a commercial property. But here's the difference between residential and commercial. Commercial properties are priced based on the income that they produce, and they're categorized as 5 units or more. So, yes, the mortgage rate that you're going to pay to get that commercial property is going to be a bit higher than residential, but the price point that you pay has to be justified based on the income. So if the property is producing low income, it's going to inhibit how much someone is willing to buy that property for because they're looking at buying an income property. So that's the main difference between the two. So why would you buy a 1 to 4 unit building if it's not going to produce the income that you want? Typically, and this is how it happened for me when I bought my first 4 unit building more than 20 years ago. I had a well paying job, which allowed me to get the best interest rates because my debt to income ratio was favorable. And my income allowed me to get a great rate on a mortgage. But I'm also getting income that is taxed at a high, say, interest rate or a high rate from the government, and I didn't have any real write offs. So even though I bought the 4 unit building and it did not produce the income that justified the expense, I was able to get a tax write off for those losses against my income while I was building the rents up over time. So if that's the position that you're in, where you have a well paying job, you have extra assets and savings, and you want to put them into a 1 to 4 unit building, a 1 to 4 unit type of investment, maybe it works out because of the tax implications of taking those losses and doing it over time.